Dear students, I am Ahmad Noman SADIQ. Today I would like to do a mock test for SERU or SERU exam. Please note that this mock test will cover only the fill in the blank portion or fill in the gaps portion of section 1 of PHV driver handbook. And the good news is that all the questions in the SERU exam will be from the PHV handbook. So my advice for all of you is to read PHV driver handbook thoroughly. But for this mock test, please read only the section 1 of driver's handbook. And you don't need to worry about the grammar side of the exam. You just need to learn few tricks to tackle the grammar side if your grammar is not very well. Now, before I proceed further, I would like to let you know how to drag the words in their appropriate positions. Now, suppose you want to fill this gap with this word restrictions. So, how could you do that? So first you need to bring this cursor or pointer here on this word, and then you need to press the left button of the mouse. After that you will drag the word like this, and you will have to put this word into this blank space like this. And when you have reached here, you will have to release your finger from the left button, and this word will automatically fit in this blank space like this. Now any word could be dragged from the bottom to its appropriate blank space in the same way. For example, this could be dragged here, or any other appropriate word could be dragged here, like it could be dragged here. Now, if you read the instruction at the start, it says, please complete the following passage by selecting a word or phrase and dragging it into the space in the sentence. Any unused word must be dragged into the red box before moving on to the next question. So here in this question, these words have been used, but these three words are not used. So these would be called as unused word, and the instruction says any unused word must be dragged. Must, it means you have to do it. So you have to drag it here, you have to drag it here, you have to drag it here. If you would not drag and put these unused words here in the red box, you will definitely be losing the marks. Please note that I was not solving the question here. I was just telling you how to drag the words or phrases from the bottom to appropriate positions. But now I will solve this question. For that, again, I will reset this question. So I will read the question first. The question says, with the blank spaces, that if there are and then there is a blank space on driver's right to, again there is a gap or blank space, and work in the UK, TFL will add appropriate, then again there is a blank space on the license. Now let's see how to choose these words, appropriate words. So first of all, this if there are, this word are indicates that the next word should be in plural form. It should not be in singular form because it is are. It is not is here. Now let's see the options. Here it is condition, lived, restrictions, restriction, live, and travel. So the only plural word is restrictions. So there is a word restriction as well. If you put restriction here, you will be losing the marks because there should be the plural word. So the plural word is restriction. So you will drag this word from the bottom to their appropriate position like this, and then you will release your left button and release your finger, and it will be fitted automatically. Now we will go to the next gap. So it says if there are restrictions on the driver's right to. So here there is a gap and the next word is and work in the UK. So what should be the word in the blank space? So let's see. On the driver's right to live or lived, it should not be condition, restrictions or travel. So it is either live or lived. So we have to choose from these two words. So there is actually no indication of past sentence. So we will not use the past tense. Also, this is the word to. After the word to, there could not be the second or third form of the verb. So there must be the first form of the verb here. So we will use live here. Now let's try to fill in the next gap. So again we will read the sentence. If there are restrictions on the driver's right to live and work in the UK, TFL will add appropriate then gap on the license. Now the thing is, we have already ruled out these two words, that lived could not be here because we have already ruled out it. We have ruled out restrictions as well. It means you have to select between these two words, that is from travel and condition. So let's see which word is the appropriate word here. So TFL will definitely, the TFL will add appropriate condition. It should not be travel. So condition will definitely fit on the in this question. So we have actually filled all the gaps. So now you can again read the question like this. If there are restrictions on the driver's right to live and work in the UK, TFL will add appropriate condition on the license. So it looks very fine. Now last thing is, don't forget to drag these words here, otherwise you will be losing the marks. So it's very important. Now to avoid forgetting to put unused words into the red box, there is a good strategy. I will show you that you first need to put all the words here. Now I am going to demonstrate by resetting it like this. So first you will put all the words here like this, like this, like this, like this. Then instead of selecting from here and putting into the appropriate positions, first you have put all the words here and then you will fill these gaps by dragging the words from this position. Like restrictions should be here, live should be here, and condition will be here. Now the remaining three words are automatically here. So it's good strategy, but it's up to you. If you are confident that you will be able to drag the unused word in the red box at the end, there is no need to do like this, but it's just a strategy. Now let's move to the next question. So you just need to press this button, next button. So here comes the next question. Now the next question says, to prove your English language speaking and listening skills, you will need to take, then there is a blank space. The test is held in TFL, again there is a blank space, and conducted under blank space conditions. So sometime remember that the answer or the gap is present in the next sentence, like here. So you always need to read full question first. So it says, to prove your English language speaking and listening skills, you will need to take a, and here see, test, exam, control, dictionary, building and tests. So it says the test is held. So here you will need to take a test. So test will be here. So you will have to fill in this gap with the word test. So it makes sense that to prove English language speaking and listening skills, you will need to take a test, and then the next sentence says that you have filled this gap with appropriate word. That is the test. So he is talking actually about the same test. So the test is held in TFL exam. It could not be TFL controlled, no. TFL dictionary, no. TFL test, no. TFL building. So yes, here building. Again, very important thing to remember is in first gap it was test. It was not tests. So we have ruled out test here. The reason is it says you will need to take a test. So a, it means he's talking about one test. So it could not be tests because this is the plural. So here we have to use the singular one because there is a letter A before this test. A means only one. So test is one, test is more than one. So we will not be using tests here. So be careful about singular and plural words. So the next is and conducted under exam conditions. So the next is you have to drag the unused words. These are unused words. So you have to put all unused words here. So in this way, you will be solving the next question. Then now I will go in I will try to solve these questions a little bit quickly. So go to the next question like this. Question says, as a licensed London PHV driver, you must tell TFL immediately if your, and here it's a gap, circumstances change. If you have broken the law and have been, again there is a gap, front driving, please note that you will also have to return your, again there is a gap, PHV driver's license and badge to TFL. So please read the question, full question first. Then again come to the first. As a licensed London driver, PHV driver, you must tell TFL immediately if you're, then you have to choose from here. So if your personal circumstances, disqualified circumstances, valid circumstances, London circumstances, disqualified circumstances, or driving circumstances. So definitely here it will come that if your personal circumstances change, if you have broken the law and have been, it is actually the passive voice, and here there should be the third form. So it should be either disqualified or disqualify. So disqualify is not a third form. So disqualified is a third form. Disqualify is the first form. So this is, if it is has been or have been, it means it's a passive voice. Then just you have to put the third form. So the best way to remember is if there is have been or has been, you need to put the third form. This is just the trick. So please note that you will also have to return your, which you have to return your PHV driver's license, and it is actually London PHV driver's license badge. So also remember, whenever the London will be in the gap, it will be starting with capital N. So London will always be starting with capital M. UK, because UK will also be in capital. So if, because it is a proper noun, so proper noun will be starting from the capital letter. So these are actually the words which we have not used. So you will put this here, here and here. So we have solved this question, and now we will jump to the next question. Now I will try to do it quickly. You should tell TFL if between, again gap, examinations you develop a new medical condition that may affect your ability to. So you should tell TFL in 7 days or in immediately. Other words are not appropriate. So between these two you have to choose. So you should tell TFL immediately. So this should be the answer. So if between medical or medication, so the appropriate word will be medical, not medication, because medical examinations will be appropriate, not medication examination. So you will put medical here. You develop a new medical condition that may affect your ability to drive, not to driven. So driven is the third form. After two, there must be the first form. It should not be the third form. So please remember, here we will put the words like this, like this. Now again, I will jump to the next question. So the question is, if you are in the UK on gap, there is a blank space visa, you will only be allowed to work for limited number of, again there is a space, each week, and you will not be allowed to be, again there is a blank space. So let's choose the words, appropriate word from here and fill this gap. If you are in the UK on days, no. Employed, no. Hours, no. Student, no. Self-employed, no. You are on the visit visa. So it should be either visit visa or student visa. But the next sentences will tell you either it is visit visa or student visa, because they are letting you know about the limited number of hours so you can work. So it means visit visa should not be here, because the person on visit visa is not allowed to do any work. So it should be student visa here. So student should be here. So you will only be allowed to work for limited number of hours or days. So it will be number of hours each week. So each week it is mentioned in the book that how many number of hours you are allowed to do work in a week. And you will not be allowed to be employed or self-employed. So you can be employed, but you could not be the self-employed. So these are the words which we have not used. We will put these words here. So let's jump to the next question. So this is question number 6. You do not need to tell gap about any other penalty. Again, there is a gap. Notices like PCNs or parking tickets that do not result in, again there is a gap, points on your driving license. So let's fill in this. You do not need to tell whom you don't need to tell. So DVLA is nothing to do with it, and TFL. So other are irrelevant. So you have to tell TFL, because PHV drivers are directly linked with TFL. So about any other penalty notices. So it is PCN. PCN means penalty charge notices. So here it will definitely charge. It should not be charged. So charge is the second form of charge. But here the question is very clear. It is telling about PCN, penalty charge notices. So we will put charge here. Are parking tickets that do not result in penalty. So penalty points. So you should not have penalty points on it. But if you have, then you need to tell TFL. Now these are the unused words: DVLA, bonus, and charged. So keep in mind that bonus could not be here. Bonus point. He is not talking about the bonus point. He is talking about the penalty points. So here there should be charge, not charged. Here should be TFL, not DVLA. So remember all these points. Now please jump to the next question. So I am pressing this next question. But please remember, if you feel that there is a mistake in the previous question, you could jump to the previous question just by pressing this previous question button like this. But now I will move to the next question. So this is question number 7. When you get your license, you will also receive PHV driver's badge, also known as a gap, and then it is ID. You must, again there is a gap, this badge all the times when you are again gap as a PHV driver. So when you get your license, you will also receive a PHV driver's badge, also known as which ID. So it is called as photographic ID. But remember and see carefully here, one photographic is starting with small letter and the other is starting with capital letter. So it is in between the sentence. If the word is in between the sentence and it is not a proper noun, then you must use the small letter. So we will use photographic with small capital P. Sorry, with small letter P. So if it is starting with small letter, then we will be using this. So we can't use this photographic because it is starting with capital P. So always remember this point. Only the proper noun with capital letter you can use, like London, like UK or any big city. Then you must this badge. You must working, no. You must works, no. Photographic we have already ruled out. You must wear or wearing. So you must wear. So after must, it could not be wearing. So you must wear this badge all the time when you are, then the only word which is remaining is working, when you are working as a PHV driver. So I am putting the unused words here. Then I am jumping to the 8th question. So it says, if TFL becomes aware that you are getting frequent gap and or parking tickets, TFL may take, again there is a gap, action against you. This is because TFL expects all licensed drivers to behave, again there is a gap. So it will be, if TFL becomes aware that you are getting frequent, here responsibility, no. Urgent, no. Licensing, no. FPNS, like it stands for fixed penalty notices. Carelessly and PCNs. PCNs means parking charge notices. Sorry, it is called as not parking charge notices, it's penalty charge notices. So if TFL becomes aware that you are getting frequent PCNs, yes, penalty charge notices, and are parking the tickets, TFL may take which action? The TFL could take the licensing action against you. This is because TFL expects all licensed drivers to behave. What they expect? Behave carelessly? No. Behave responsibly. So you will have to put responsibly here. So urgent we will put here, fixed penalty notices here, and then carelessly here. Then comes the next question. Yes, it says, if you do not send TFL all necessary information, you might gap your license. If you have an existing medical condition, extra, again there is a gap, examinations, maybe, again there is a gap. So if you do not send TFL all necessary information, you might, one word is lose and the other is lost. Lose is the first form, it is a present, and this lost is the second form, it's past. So here there is no indication of past. So you will definitely use the word lose. So you might lose your license if you have an existing medical condition. Extra examination. Which examination? Medical examination. But there are two possibilities here. One here medical, but it is starting with small m. The other is starting with capital M. So you have to choose this medical because it is starting with small m. Why? Because the medical, this word is being used in the middle of the sentence. It is not at the start. If it was at the start, then we would have chosen the option medical with capital M at the start. Examinations may be. Now here there should be the third form because it specifies. Because if there is may be, after that there should be the third form. So maybe cancelled, it should not be cancelled, because he's not talking about the cancellation. So it's not about the lost, it's not about the medical. We have already ruled out this. So extra examinations may be cancelled. It doesn't mean, it doesn't make sense. So it may be needed. So if you have existing medical condition, extra medical examinations may be needed. So it will be here, cancelled will be here, and medical will also be here. Then the next question. So this is question number 10. But I am requesting all of you to read the book first. Now this question says from the age of you, so you have to put the age either 65, 45, 60 or 40. PHV driver must have, there is a gap, examination each time they apply to renew their license. So at the age of 45, if they are of age 45, PHV driver must have an examination or medical. Which examination? Medical examination each time they apply to renew. So whenever they will renew, they will try to renew, they will have to take a medical examination first. So from the age of 65, PHV drivers must have medical assessment each year. So after or at the age of 65, it will be converted into each year. But before that, it was after each renewal. So please remember this. So I will put driving here, 60 here, 40 here, and then I will jump to the next question. Your license may have some. So again, there is some. It is not one. So here there will be a plural word attached to it. For example, if you have medical condition, you may be required to have extra some type of checks. So you have to choose the word from here. Any conditions added to your license will be explained in something here sent to you with your license. So let's see. Your license may have some statements attached to it. Now, conditions, letter, physical, medical. So it is either condition, because usually some conditions are attached. So if it says some, it means it is not condition. It is not simple singular word. It should be condition. So please be careful regarding this. Also, please be careful whether it is starting with capital letter or small letter. So attached to it. For example, if you have a medical condition, you may be required to have extra. So here it is physical checks or medical checks. So it should be medical checks. Any conditions added to your license will be explained in the thing sent to you. So which thing should be sent to you? It's a letter. Letter sent to you with your license. I will put condition here, statements here, physical here. Then go to the next question. This is question number 12. You must tell TFL immediately if you are arrested, then a gap with convicted or cautioned for any crime. This includes any, again there is a gap, penalty notices or road traffic offenses that result in, again there is a gap, points on your driving license. So if you are arrested, or what should be here? Arrested, penalty, fixed, charge, blame, charge. So it should be charged. It should not be charged. So if you are arrested, it means has been arrested or has been charged with. Convicted or cautioned. So here arrested, charged, convicted or cautioned. So you must be very careful that here it is charged, not charged. This includes any penalty points. So not penalty points. So because it says any gap and then penalty is already written. So penalty notices. So which penalty notices might be? So it should be fixed penalty notices. So this includes any fixed penalty notices. But remember here again it is written fixed. But the start letter is F with capital letter. So you should not be using this. So it should be fixed with the small letter F. So fixed should be starting with small letter, not with the capital letter. So I am putting this here. So fixed should be with small letter should be here. Penalty notices are road traffic offenses that result in which points? Penalty points, not charge points or blame points. So I should put these here. So go to the next question. So this is question number 13. You will need to take a separate test to check your ability to select and plan A. A indicates that there should be a single word here. Read A again. Here there should be a single word. And identify locations. The test is held in center approved by TFL and conducted under exam conditions by TFL. Again there is a gap. So you need to take a separate test. He is actually talking about a topographical test. So you have already read it in the book. Test to check your ability to select and plan a route, not routes. Read a map, not atlas. And atlas is also starting with capital A. So it could not be the option here. And identify the location. I am doing it now quickly. The test is held in the center approved by TFL and conducted under exam conditions by TFL examiner. So examiner should be here. Atlas I will put it here, examination here, and routes here. But please remember that sometimes the answer of the previous question might be present in the next question, because you might have noticed that this sentence was also present in the previous question. So this might happen. So be careful in this regard. So it was also present in one previous question that the test is held in the center approved by TFL and conducted under exam condition. And previously the blank space was exam. So it might be in the MCQ portion, it might be in the true and false portion, it might be in paragraph portion. So please be careful that the answer of one question might be present in other questions. So please be careful in this regard. Now let's jump to the next question. It is question number 14. The question is, it is important that TFL keeps you informed of any changes to the gap to do with how PHVs and PHV drivers are licensed, as well as the news and gap that could affect your, again there is a gap. So it is important that TFL keeps you informed of any changes to the security, events, jobs, economy, events, regulation. So here, if there is any change in the regulation, so TFL keeps you informed of any changes to the regulations to do with how PHVs and PHV drivers are licensed, as well as news and events. So here it will be events. So it is news and there should be events, not event. So again, see, there is event and here it is events as well. So both are events, but one is starting with capital E and the other is starting with small e. So it is in the middle of the word, so it should be starting with the small letter E. So be careful. If you will put this event which is starting with capital E, you will be definitely losing marks. And that could affect your job. So here there will be a job. So security, events, economy should be placed here. Now this is the last question of this mock. So the last question is, TFL will remind you when medical examination is due and send you gap you need. You are responsible for making sure that, again there is a gap, completes a form with all required information about your, again there is a gap, and for returning the form to the TFL. So here again I will read the question. TFL remind you when medical examination is due and send you the medicine, no, income, no, health, no, help, no, doctor. It should be the form. They will send you a form you need. Then you are responsible for making sure that completes the form. Who will complete the form? Doctor with small d. Okay. Form with all required information about your, it should be health. It should not be your income. It should not be health. It should not be medicine. It should be about your health and for returning the form to the TFL. So I will put medicine here, income here, and health here. And that is the end of this mock test. If I press the next button, this pop-up message will appear. And now you need to submit. You have to press this button which says submit all. So see, it is 100%. So we have done it 100% fine. And that's the end of today's session. Thank you very much.